All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're plunging straight into a hidden kind of psychological warfare. Seriously, it's a battle going on right now between our modern artificial architecture and our ancient evolutionary programming.
Look, if you've ever felt completely just drained by the constant bombardment of frantic scrolling screens and overwhelmingly loud neon cities, I promise you, you are not alone. To find the cure for this exhaustion, we really need to understand the battlefield we're standing on. We're living in what researchers actually call the modern acoustic trap. Think about it. Industrial cities literally bombard us with chaotic frequencies all day long. You've got the unpredictable screech of traffic, blaring alarms, the constant low mechanical hum of HVAC systems. And here's the thing. These aren't just minor annoyances. These unpredictable acoustic assaults act as hostile weapons against our biology. Because your brain, it's hardwired to interpret sudden, unpredictable noises as direct threats. So, when you're constantly subjected to this urban soundscape, your nervous system is forced into a state of perpetual high alert. It is a literal war on your nervous system.
And the absolutely crucial point here is how this acoustic warfare physically changes your brain's wiring. Enter the default mode network, or the DMN. Now, typically, this is a network of interconnected brain regions that lights up when you're just resting, right? Like daydreaming or letting your mind peacefully wander. But here is the trap. Under the chronic sensory stress of city noise, this network gets hijacked. This relentless chaotic noise traps your brain's default mode network in a loop of state paranoia and inward-directed anxious rumination. It keeps you chronically overvigilant. You might think you're just relaxing on your couch in some high-rise apartment, but subconsciously, your brain is treating your concrete jungle exactly like a landscape full of active predators.
Functional MRI studies brilliantly illustrate a stark neurophysiological contrast between these two worlds. I mean, the data's wild. Under artificial urban noise, the DMN is forced into this highly specific neurological state of anxious rumination. It turns your focus entirely inward to worry and stress. But, and this is the fascinating part, when those exact same brains are exposed to natural sounds, like a steady rain, the brain systematically decouples this anxiety loop. It shifts into an outward-directed, restorative focus. Literally, the sounds of nature switch the track your brain is running on. It pulls you right out of anxiety and pushes you into deep stress recovery.
So, how exactly does this happen?
Well, there's an organic system interruption to this chaotic environment. It acts kind of like a giant acoustic blanket that's gently thrown over your aggressive, overstimulated nervous system, forcing it to finally stand down. And in the scientific and audio communities, this biological override has a very specific name: pink noise.
Now, what's really interesting here is the mathematical contrast between what we think works and what actually works with our biology. You've probably heard of white noise, right? Well, white noise has equal energy across all frequencies. It's completely flat, and frankly, it sounds pretty harsh, kind of like untuned TV static. But pink noise is totally different. Pink noise decreases by precisely 3 decibels per octave. This specific mathematical slope means that the lower frequencies actually carry more energy, so it sounds deep, natural, and balanced. Think wind blowing through the trees or a steady, heavy rainfall. And because this mathematical decrease perfectly matches the natural perceptual loudness curve of the human ear, it seamlessly masks those harsh modern noise spikes and instantly drops your brain's cognitive workload.
To really understand why this specific acoustic signature, the sound of rain, overrides our modern anxieties so effectively, we actually have to travel back millions of years. This is where we uncover this fascinating evolutionary conspiracy. Because for our ancient hominin ancestors, rain wasn't just weather. It signaled an ancient, hardwired, tactical ceasefire.
Just picture the savannah during a heavy downpour. The sound of rain meant that your immediate predation risk was incredibly low. Think about the biology of it. Water washes away olfactory scent trails, while the heavy rain drops visibility to near zero. You add in the pink noise naturally masking the snap of a twig or rustling grass, and suddenly physical movement in the mud becomes a massive liability for any predator that's just trying to conserve its own body heat. This undeniable biological reality tricked our ancestors' brains into dropping their evolutionary guard. Basically, when it rained, predators physically couldn't hunt effectively, which meant you didn't have to worry about being hunted.
And this ceasefire came with a massive neurochemical reward. If you were a vulnerable, hairless human out on the savannah, finding dry cover during a storm wasn't just comfortable. It was a life-saving success. Escaping hypothermia and predators at the exact same time triggered what researchers call the dopamine shelter reflex. Your brain released a massive surge of dopamine, a neurochemical reward loop reinforcing this ultimate survival victory. Rain plus shelter equated directly to survival and pleasure. Which brings us to the core of our modern struggle. Dr. Anna Lemke perfectly illustrates this dilemma with this metaphor. She says, humans are cacti in a digital rainforest. It's brilliant, right? Our brains evolved in an environment of absolute scarcity to manage a highly conservative dopamine budget. We are the cactus, built to carefully manage every single drop of water. But modern life, our digital rainforest, completely drowns us in highly stimulating, effortless dopamine triggers. From constant artificial noise to endless phone notifications, we are left chronically overvigilant and entirely overstimulated. So, the predictable, non-demanding sensory input of a rainstorm provides a desperate, much-needed break from this digital overstimulation. When you hear that predictable wash of pink noise, your brain doesn't have to process complex language or sudden sirens or flashing alerts. It finally allows your parasympathetic nervous system, that's the part of you responsible for rest and digestion, to decouple its anxiety circuits. It is literally your natural biology taking back control from your artificial environment. However, before you go and leave that rain sound app running endlessly on your phone to escape the city, we do need to examine a critical, objective twist in the data. Recent research from a February 2026 University of Pennsylvania study has completely reframed how we should view continuous noise exposure during sleep. Get this, the study found that playing pink noise continuously all night long at around 50 decibels, which is roughly the volume of a moderate rainfall, actually reduces your crucial REM sleep by 19 minutes a night. Yeah, almost 20 minutes. So while pink noise is incredible for helping you fall asleep and masking those sudden traffic noises, leaving it blasting continuously disrupts the deeper architectural stages of your brain's overnight repair cycle.
So this roots the true power of pink noise in strategic, intentional use. This gives us what we call the timer rule, meaning you should absolutely use a sleep timer on your apps or sound machines to harness the calming onset benefits of pink noise. You want that acoustic blanket to help you drop your evolutionary guard and fall asleep for sure. But you want it to fade out so you aren't fragmenting your deep sleep architecture throughout the night. It's a strategic system override, not a permanent crutch.
Now, let's bring this all together for our finale, because this all builds to one of the most fascinating concepts in environmental psychology: prospect-refuge theory. This is the profound realization that explains our deepest aesthetic comforts. The theory posits that humans are innately drawn to environments that offer a clear view of potential hazards. That's the prospect, while simultaneously providing a protected, concealed space to hide from them. And that's the refuge.
Think about that feeling of sitting warm and secure behind a thick glass window with a cup of coffee, just watching chaotic weather, like a heavy rainstorm, unfold outside. Your brain is perfectly reconciling this ultimate balance. You are safely surveying a threat, the harsh elements, while remaining entirely concealed and protected. The pink noise is masking outside threats, your dopamine shelter reflex is firing on all cylinders, and your default mode network has shifted into deep restoration. It is a total biological reset.
So, the next time you feel an overwhelming, almost unexplainable sense of peace listening to a thunderstorm roll over your city, ask yourself, are you simply enjoying the aesthetic of a rainy day, or are you actually watching a biological system reset that human DNA has never truly forgotten? Take this knowledge, set that sleep timer, and reclaim your peace of mind from the modern acoustic trap